They always said not to look too long. Not at her. Not in that house. But the sun was too bright, the water too clear, and I didn't realize she was watching until I heard her voice. It was supposed to be a chill weekend. I hadn't seen my buddy Tyler in a while, and his parents had a pool. Big, clean, surrounded by hedges, and backed by open sky. Classic suburban escape. I'd brought my backpack, towel, and not much else. Tyler ran inside first to grab towels and some drinks. I was left by the edge of the pool, still in my shirt and shorts. A few moments later, he called out from the sliding door, "Back in a bit, bro. Picking up the pizza. Mom's home, though, so don't burn anything." I gave a mock salute, and he was gone with the screech of tires down the driveway. The air was hot, August hot. I dropped my stuff, pulled my shirt over my head, and kicked off my sneakers. The tiles under my feet were already heating up, and the water looked perfect. I dove in, the shock of cold slamming through me like a reset button. I swam a few laps, letting the silence settle around me. No traffic, no phones, just the ripple of water echoing off stone. I came up for air and leaned back against the pool wall, brushing my wet hair from my face, and that's when I saw her. She was standing on the upstairs balcony. White railing, loose pale blue robe, hair pulled up, a coffee mug in her hand, and she was looking straight at me. Our eyes locked. I froze, mid-breath. Then she smiled, slow, like it had been happening long before I noticed. I raised a hand in greeting, awkwardly. She didn't wave back. Instead, she set her coffee down on the table behind her, turned, and disappeared inside. I let out a breath, unsure if I was relieved or disappointed. I told myself it didn't mean anything, just curiosity, or coincidence. Probably didn't even know it was me in the water. But 2 minutes later, I heard the patio door slide open behind me. I turned. She stepped outside barefoot, same robe, but now holding a glass of water and her phone. Up close, she looked more casual than I remembered. And younger. "Didn't expect anyone to be out this early," she said. "I figured I'd beat the sun," I replied, trying not to sound weird. She nodded, eyes drifting over the pool, then back to me. "You've filled out since I last saw you. Must be all that gym time Tyler keeps complaining about." I gave a dry laugh. "Guess he notices more than I thought." She took a sip of her drink. "Don't worry. I won't tell him you look better shirtless." I blinked. Was that a joke? She sat on one of the lounge chairs, crossing her legs. "He'll be gone a while. That pizza place always screws up the order." I swam to the shallow end, just to be moving. The silence felt like it was getting heavier. She watched me, no hiding it now. "So," I said, reaching for a towel, "how things been?" "Oh, same old. House feels too quiet sometimes, especially in the mornings, especially lately." The way she said it made it feel like she wasn't really talking about the house. And then, almost like changing the subject, she added, "Tyler's dad's been working from home more. He doesn't like when I socialize." I raised an eyebrow. "You mean like this?" She tilted her head, smirking. "Exactly like this." Her voice had dropped, just slightly. "But he's not here now," she added, as if reading my thought. "And Tyler won't be back for another 20-30 minutes, if traffic's bad." I looked toward the house. The curtains were all pulled shut. Still, something about the situation made me hyper-aware of everything. Her tone, her posture, the heat of the sun. And that's when my phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. Long line. Might take 40 minutes. Grabbed wings too. "You good?" I replied quick. "All good." When I looked up again, she was standing at the edge of the pool now, near the deep end. She trailed her fingers over the water's surface. Her robe hung loose on one shoulder. Then she looked up and asked, casually, "Can I join you?" I swallowed. "What?" She smiled. "It's a hot day. Water looks good. You don't mind, do you?" I didn't know what to say. I looked toward the driveway. No car. No sound. And something in her eyes dared me to answer. I didn't answer her question. At least not out loud. But I didn't stop her either. She didn't wait for permission. Just let her robe slide off one shoulder. Then the other, letting it fall to the lounge chair behind her. The swimsuit underneath was black, one piece, tasteful, but not modest. She stepped into the pool like she'd done it 1,000 times. Probably had. Slowly, one foot after the other, descending the steps until she was waist-deep. She shivered slightly and smiled. "Still cold in the mornings," she said. I nodded, staying a safe distance away, floating in the deep end. My heartbeat was louder than the ripple of water. For a few seconds we just swam. Nothing was said. Just shared water, shared silence, shared glances. She stretched her arms and rolled her neck, long fingers gliding along the surface as she moved closer. "I used to swim every morning," she said. "But lately, I don't know, lost the habit." "Why?" She looked at me. "Swimming alone just doesn't feel the same." Something in her voice made the air between us shift. She was floating near the middle now. I could smell her sunscreen. Something floral, almost too sweet. I turned toward the edge of the pool, resting my elbows on the stone. She mirrored me just a few feet away. "You and Tyler have been close for a while," she said casually. "Since high school. You ever stay the night here before?" I shrugged. "Once. Maybe twice. Not lately." "No." She smiled slightly. "Strange how that happens. People get older, boundaries shift. Boys become harder to ignore." I swallowed hard, glancing toward the house. The patio doors were shut, curtains drawn, just like earlier. Still, something felt dangerous. Not just the words, the stillness, and then the buzz of a phone. Not mine, hers. She looked toward the lounge chair where her phone lay on her robe. A call lit up the screen. She cursed under her breath and swam to the edge, pulling herself out of the water with practiced ease. I couldn't help but watch the way the sunlight ran along her back. She dried her hands, checked the screen, and sighed. "Work," she muttered. She pressed decline, then turned off the ringer. She caught me watching, didn't look away. "Don't worry," she said. "Nobody important." She sat back down on the lounge, dripping water, legs crossed. The way she tilted her head, the curve of her lips, it was calculated. Subtle but intentional. Then she did something strange. She reached behind her neck and unfastened a thin silver chain, pulling it free and letting it fall into her hand. At the center was a small, delicate pendant, an opal set in a smooth silver ring. She held it out to me. "Hold this," she said. "I don't like swimming with it on." I hesitated, then nodded. I walked over, wet feet slapping the tile, took the chain. It was still warm from her skin. She watched me as I wrapped it around my fingers and tucked it into the pocket of my shorts. "I trust you," she said. The way she said it made the words heavy. Then, as if nothing had happened, she slid back into the water, slower this time, eyes never leaving mine. We swam again, closer this time. I could feel her presence like heat. At one point, she brushed past me underwater. Not an accident. When we surfaced, we were only a few inches apart. Neither of us moved. I could see the drop of water on her shoulder, the slight rise and fall of her breath. Her eyes flicked to my lips and back. And for a second, just one, we both leaned in just slightly. And then, slam. A car door. We both jerked back. From over the fence came the sound of footsteps on gravel. The neighbor's yard. A man's voice, muffled, laughing. Dogs barking. A kid shouting. She let out a slow exhale. I didn't even realize I'd stopped breathing. We both drifted apart without a word, pretending nothing happened. She floated on her back. I wiped water from my face, heart thudding. After a minute, she spoke again. Calm, soft. Tomorrow morning. The pool's empty until 10. I turned to look at her. She didn't face me, just stared at the sky, arms out, body floating like a shadow. Then she added, if you're curious, that's when I usually swim alone. I got there earlier than I meant to, earlier than she said. Maybe I just wanted to see if she meant it, or if yesterday was a heat wave hallucination. The backyard was still. Mist hung over the pool in a thin sheet. The water didn't ripple. No music, no traffic. Even the birds weren't up yet. Only the soft hum of the filter and the occasional creak of a tree. I let myself in through the side gate. Tyler's dad kept it unlocked, said fences were more for dogs than for people. I crossed the tiles barefoot, set my towel down on the same chair as yesterday, and slipped into the pool without a sound. I didn't expect her to be up yet. Part of me hoped she wouldn't come. Another part of me hoped too much that she would. 10 minutes passed. I floated, swam a few slow laps, watched the upstairs curtains, waiting for a light. Nothing. I was starting to think it really had been a one-time moment, a line crossed and erased, until the door behind me opened. It wasn't the sliding glass door from yesterday. It was the kitchen door, the one that opened onto the side yard, almost hidden by the hedges. She stepped out slowly, carrying a mug of coffee, wearing a thin gray hoodie over a black swimsuit. She saw me, and something in her smile looked different this time. Not surprised, not testing, just sure. I didn't think you'd actually come, she said, voice low. You said 10. I'm early. She stepped closer, toes brushing the edge of the pool. I like early. Her tone was calm, but there was tension under it, like a tight string. She sipped her coffee and set it down on the ledge, pulling off the hoodie and folding it neatly on the lounge. I tried not to stare, but she noticed, didn't look away, didn't mind. She sat on the edge, legs dangling in the water. I couldn't stop thinking about yesterday, she said, almost to herself. I swam closer, not too close. Neither could I admitted. That's when we both froze. The upstairs window creaked. I looked up, curtains still drawn, but I could have sworn I saw movement. A shift, a shadow. She moved instantly, sliding into the pool, low in the water. Who's home? I whispered. My husband, she said. He got back late last night. I blinked. You didn't say. I didn't plan for this either. We stood facing each other in the water, hearts loud in the silence. You should go, she said, eyes scanning the window. But then her hand came up, barely, under the surface and brushed my wrist. A soft graze. Her fingers lingered. I'm glad you came, she added, quieter. Then, just for a second, she leaned in. No kiss, no words, just her forehead resting against mine, barely touching, eyes closed. It lasted no more than 3 heartbeats. And then, slam, a door inside the house. She backed away instantly. I turned, swimming toward the far end. We both moved like nothing happened, like we were strangers in the same water. The kitchen door creaked again. She grabbed her towel and mug, called out toward the house. Just getting some fresh air. Footsteps inside. Muffled voices. I grabbed my towel, heart hammering, and made my way to the gate as quietly as I could. Just before I opened it, something small fell from the folds of my towel. It was her necklace, the chain, the opal, still wrapped the way I'd folded it. She hadn't asked for it back. Not yesterday. Not now. I looked toward the house. No sign of her. Then I saw it, on the lounge chair, right where she'd folded her hoodie. A small, square piece of paper tucked under a ceramic coaster. I looked around once more. No one. I slipped it out. It read, "Pools always empty Thursday mornings. Back doors unlocked." Below it, a tiny sketch of the necklace pendant. A circle. A symbol. I didn't sleep much that night. Every creak of the floor, every car driving past the house, every shadow in the hallway. It all felt like someone had seen us. Someone knew. Thursday morning. I got up before sunrise, threw on a hoodie, grabbed my bag, and left without breakfast. Tyler texted as I was unlocking my bike. "You still down to meet at the gym at 9? Said you had something to do first?" I stared at the screen for a moment, then lied. "Family thing. Won't make it today. Rain check." It wasn't just about avoiding suspicion. It was about choosing her. Knowing what I was walking into and doing it anyway. The neighborhood was still asleep when I got there. I took the side path again. The note said the back door would be unlocked. It was. No sound in the kitchen. No lights. Only a trail. Her mug from yesterday. A damp towel draped over a chair. The faint scent of perfume in the air. And on the island counter, another note. Folded once. My name written on the outside. Upstairs. Quietly. Doors open. The hallway creaked under my feet. I moved slowly, heart in my throat. Her room was on the left. Door cracked open. Inside, morning light filtering through sheer curtains, shadows dancing across the bed, a breeze stirring the fabric. She stood by the window, back to me, wearing an oversized t-shirt and nothing else I could see. Hair loose, bare feet. "You came," she said softly, without turning. "I said I would." She finally turned to face me, eyes tired, but calm, vulnerable. "I almost didn't leave that note," she said. "Why?" "Because I'm not sure I want you to see this version of me." I stepped inside, closing the door behind me. "What version is that?" "The one that admits I'm not happy, that I'm stuck, that I feel invisible in my own house." She sat on the edge of the bed, pulling her legs up, arms around her knees. "Tyler's always gone. His father, my husband, treats me like wallpaper. And most days, I start talking just to remember what my voice sounds like." I didn't know what to say, so I sat beside her, close but not touching. She looked at me. "You're probably thinking this is some midlife cliché. Lonely housewife, pool boy fantasy." "No," I said. "I'm thinking, you look like someone who just wants to be seen." That made her blink. Her lip trembled for a second, but she didn't cry. She leaned her head on my shoulder instead. "I used to love this house," she said. "Now it feels like a museum. Everything polished, nothing alive." We sat like that for a few quiet minutes. Then she reached under the pillow and pulled out the necklace. The same one I'd been carrying. She must have retrieved it after I left. She held it up between two fingers. The opal caught the morning light, flickering pale blue. "This used to mean something," she whispered. "Now it just reminds me of all the things I don't say." She pressed it into my palm. "You keep it." I stared at her. "That's not a good idea." She smiled sadly. "Neither is this." We heard it almost at the same time. A door slamming downstairs, followed by footsteps, heavy, purposeful. Her eyes widened. I stood. "That's him," she whispered. "He never comes home this early." My chest tightened. "What do I do?" She pointed to the closet. "No," I said. "That's insane." Then use the window. Third option. I opened the bedroom door a crack, just enough to hear voices below. He was talking, asking something, sounded annoyed, then silence. I closed the door quietly, turned to her. He suspects something? He's been distant, cold. But lately, I think he's watching again. Again. Let's just say this isn't the first time someone's made me feel visible. The tension cracked inside me like a wire snapping. I should go, I said. She nodded. But before I moved, she grabbed my wrist. Tonight, she said. One last time. After dark. Same place. I hesitated. What if he's home? Then we'll be careful. Her grip tightened. Promise me. I nodded. Then I slipped out the door, down the stairs, out the back, and disappeared into the morning. That night I didn't eat, didn't answer texts, didn't speak. I just watched the time crawl forward, like the second hand knew what I was planning to do and was trying to warn me. It was just after 11 p.m. when I reached the side gate. Same rusted latch, same squeak when I lifted it. The backyard was quiet, darker than usual. No lights from the kitchen, no pool light either, only the faint silver glow from a half-moon overhead. I moved silently, like someone crossing into a memory. The back door was unlocked, just like the note had promised last time. I stepped into the kitchen. Every surface was shadowed, every corner still. But there, on the counter, was a folded towel and a familiar black swimsuit, neatly rolled beside it. And next to them, a handwritten note. Wait outside. 2 minutes. I exhaled and stepped back out. The night air was warm against my skin. I walked barefoot to the edge of the pool, sat down, and let my feet dangle in. The surface was mirror flat, reflecting the moon and the shape of the house behind me. The patio door opened softly. She stepped out barefoot, wrapped in a long robe, hair still damp from a quick shower. No words, just that same look. One that had stopped feeling dangerous and started feeling necessary. She came and sat beside me. We didn't speak for a long moment. Then she said, "If we go in, we can't take it back." I didn't answer. I just looked at her. She continued, "We'll either live with it or regret it." I turned toward her fully, lowering my voice. "I'm already living with it." She looked down, let out a shaky breath, and nodded. And then she stood, untied the robe, let it fall behind her like a whisper, and stepped into the pool. No invitation this time. She just looked back at me once, eyes steady. Waiting, I followed. The water closed around me like silence. We met in the center. No space, no air between us, no words. It wasn't messy or rushed. It was stillness, like time paused to witness it. Her hands on my neck, my breath in her ear, the echo of the world holding back. We didn't kiss until the very end. She cried when she pulled away, just a little, not from guilt, from knowing it wouldn't last. She whispered, "This is the part we don't talk about." And I nodded because I understood. Mantelpiece clock Balok 2 weeks later. It rained every day for a week after. I didn't come over. Tyler didn't text me. She didn't leave any more notes. And I thought it was over, until a package showed up at my place. Small, unmarked. Inside, a velvet pouch. And in it, the necklace, the silver chain, the opal, warm in my hand. Tucked beside it, a square note. "Pool's empty Sunday mornings now. You still remember the side gate." No name, just her handwriting. And the final word, scrawled at the bottom like a dare. "Swim."